What's up, everyone? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys Akatsuki no Yona, also known as Yona of the Dawn. Yona of the Dawn, chapter 199. Apologize for my crappy singing. Alright, or not even holding a note. So, gotta say this chapter, I have mixed feelings about it. It's ironic. It's sort of ironic that we're getting this chapter. It's a few hours early, about a day earlier, that kind of idea. So I'm trying to get this one out a little earlier than my last couple of reviews. I hope to anyways. You know, I'm recording it right now, but right now I'm just stressed out with the whole USA election, and I'm goddamn Canadian. So, yeah, but it's ironic because we're in the midst of the United States of America election, and right now this chapter felt so political, so just in general. Did it not? Like the last chapter, it was building blocks of the political aspects and how a war room, how political arguments go, how democracy works, how countries bully other countries, how the level of diplomacy actually goes on backstage, all the backstabbing and stuff. We had tidbits of it, and Yona has been no stranger to the politics of running a country, running a nation, and how to deal with other nations and other threats from other nations. In this chapter, we are getting more insight into that. I just found it kind of ironic that this was such a, in my opinion, one of the more political chapters of Yona, while we're in the midst of a huge, basically world-changing event, whether we go with a president that makes Nixon look great, or we go with someone who was, right-hand man of a rather well-liked president. So, not trying to get political. All right, so that being said, we're going to do a semi-read-through here because I don't really want to miss anything. I hope this won't take too long, guys. I seriously want to get back to the debates and stuff. My wife's American, so this is a really big deal, yeah. So, anyways, chapter 199. I promise you guys right away, Chapter 200 will be a live stream, and I will spend 2-3 hours if I have to, debating, discussing. I might even open the Discord if you guys are up for that. If you want to talk on my Discord, link will be in the box down below, and we might have an actual discussion, audio discussion on stream about the chapter afterwards. But honestly, I'm curious about the effect of chapter 200. We'll talk about that in a minute because I've already read the chapter. I really like the opening page of the chapter though, because we have the Kai Empire, a major country bordering the Koka Kingdom and blah blah blah. But I like that they're reminding us, okay, here's Zing, here's Sai, here's Koka Kingdom, here's Kai, right? Kai split into two places, all that fun jazz, right? They're giving us an actual map and a general idea of where everything's taking place. That's pretty cool. We have guards talking outside, blah, blah, blah. All right, so the meeting is continued. They've actually sat down at a table as dignitaries, and they're going to, start talking, right? So Yona has spent... the dignitaries were caught off guard initially at the end of the last chapter, right? Because she caught them in a couple of lies. And now she's catching them in more lies because she starts off really, really strong, and I really like this. We're going to talk about Yona's character here by the end of the chapter, or maybe halfway through, because I have a serious... This is what I'm talking about, mixed feelings with this chapter. Not only does it not set up chapter 200 to be the major event that it should be, but what we can also talk about, numbers. Do they really mean anything? But also Yona's character. We really need to discuss that from this chapter on, because I feel like I don't even know what to expect anymore. So here we have her, holding strong. Like we saw at the end of the last chapter. She's doing well. She's strong-willed. She's telling them, okay, I already know the laws. And they're taken aback. The Kai and Koka common law? Yes. Laws that were established by my grandfather's era, blah, 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 blah. And Kisok, he knows about it. He knows all about this stuff, but he's like, wow, how does Yona know anything about it? But she spent all the 3 days, and I'm glad they show it, and they try to make it a joke, but it's still taken seriously. They're like, spent all 3 days reading all the books in Soo-won's office, waiting for Soo-won to come back, because she wanted to talk about the diary. So instead, she was bored to tears, so she spent she spent probably 10 hours sleeping, eating, and drinking, and the other, hours of the day just reading. Just the other 14 hours, she just read the books. She read the history of her kingdom. She read this. She read that. Yona has been gaining experience, and a lot of people have said this is now is her time to gain knowledge. She's already gained experience as a ruler for the Koka kingdom, as a person, as a citizen, as a princess, as multiple different things. But now is her time to gain political knowledge, to gain charisma, which you could argue she has, but she doesn't have the political naysay or the backbone or the lawyer's speech, the silver tongue to sort of back it up, you could argue, because she doesn't have enough of the information. Now she's gained the information. She's gained the knowledge in all a short 3 days, and it's worked. So she went through these laws and basically said, all right, well, why don't we go on this stuff? Now she gets cut off here right away. Like, first off, props to Yona. Props to Yona automatically taking control of the situation last chapter and totally coming out of the gate both barrels. She's doing this, and it's working fantastic. But here's the thing. Here's the damn thing. Is that she gets cut off. What is these common laws to find out who's at fault from the initial issue? They sat down, they said, okay, item number 1. Yona goes, well, let's find a resolution to item number 1. She gets interrupted right away with item number 37. And I know, and see, this is realistic to how it goes. It's the most frustrating goddamn thing in the world. I work for the federal government as a contractor, and I can tell you right now, even up here in Canada, we like to think we're not as crazy as certain other countries, but I gotta tell you right now, you have to play that political game. It's the most frustrating thing in the world to do. When to fight, when to pull back, when to go around, whether to, bob and weave, do you take a knee? Do you lose the fight with Rocky and come out the winner for the people? Or do you just straight up win like Rocky 2? What do? It's a frustrating sort of system. And right here already I was frustrated, but I understood it. It made sense. This is very well written right out of the gate. A couple pages in. Said, would be acceptable to introduce another topic called polite. I would actually like to discuss something else, if you would indulge me. It's like, no, go fuck yourself. But either way, all right, I was talking, but fine. Let's hear what you have to say. God damn it. So they talk about the 4 dragons, right? And they basically say, all right, well, we've heard the rumors. They go through the rumors. And Kisok tries to pay them off as, they are actually, property of the Koka kingdom. They are our treasures. They are the legendary dragons. And so then they try to pull some stunt. This bald-headed dude has been trying to pull stunt after stunt for now 2 chapters in a row, and he keeps getting flabbergasted by Yona. Love to see it. But basically comes up with some bullshit. It might not actually be bullshit. There might be something about this lake. There's a legend, and it's funny because they showed us the map at the beginning to sort of show us, okay, there actually is a lake, blah, blah, blah. But there's this lake deep within. It's called the Shenshui. I don't know what the accents means on the word, guys. I'm terrible at language like that. So apologies for that. But this Shenshui, yeah, let's just go with Shenshui. You know what? The lake. So the lake in the Kai Kingdom or the Kai Empire is, well, it's obviously a lake. No, I was going to call it a riverbed. But it's a lake, and it's this place where it's in the north of the Kai Empire, and it also had, loyal servants and stuff, and there might be a couple legends about the lake. Maybe they have the legend of King Arthur up there. Who the hell knows? Lady of the Lake and Camelot, so on. But the idea here is that they're kind of stealing the legend and applying it to the Kai Kingdom and basically saying, well, we've heard these rumors. We know it's basically they've had enough reports that they're like, all right, so you have some type of military power. On what grounds are those your legendary creatures? It's basically, once again, now we're getting to the religious aspects. We were politics, now we're getting a little bit into the religion. Like, well, that's my god. No, that's my god. Let's fight and cause war for the rest of human history. That's basically human history in a nutshell. My god, fight. So, that's basically what he's trying to start. He's trying to poke. He's trying to get a reaction. Now, Ki-sok also realizes this is a farce. This is ridiculous. Yona, once again, owns this completely and just says, there's a lake in the Kai Empire that bestows godly powers? Well, and I'm sure everyone will have drunk a bellyful by now, no? Smile. Let's put a smile on that face. I loved it. I love how composed Yona is. And this bald dude, once again, stunned like an asshole that he is. Love that these guys came prepared with all these, conniving, manipulative, bullshit sort of schemes. And they're just not working on Yona, which, once again, we're going to go... When we go further, the later half of the chapter is where all the mixed feelings come in, because this hits the ground running. Even Jodo and Ki-sok, damn, I almost burst out laughing. They are loving what Yona is doing right now. Even Ki-sok is loving Yona right at this moment. So they also continue to talk, and Ki-sok has an inner monologue where he says, Yona has dominated, just praising Yona, holy shit, she's awesome. And after that, we get the fact that the guy at the head of the table, who I guess is the representative, sort of like Yona, the two high seats, either end of the table, usually the chair of honor. Your father always sits at the head of the table sort of idea. Don't hate me, 2020. Don't cancel me for that. The man of the house sits at the front of the table. He must be a wife beater. Whatever. But yeah, it's usually the place of honor. The head of the table is usually where the one, it's the high end seat sort of idea, right? It's just a traditional thing. It's been in many cultures. It's in many sort of ideas, right? So both Yona and this person are both sitting at either end of the table. So they are both at equal footing, and they're both sitting at the end of the table, the highest honors. So this person is sitting there, seems to be shrouded in mystery, does not look well. We did not see this person last chapter as far as I am aware, but Yona ends up just getting up in the middle of the negotiations and asking this person, are you alright? Seems to be a young man. And she starts to refer to the health and says, you were feeling unwell. Weren't you fine before the conference? This person is feeling very unwell. This say Lord Lan Tan. So I'm assuming this is the representative that has shown up to represent South Kai in this matter against the Earth Tribe and all the crap that's going on. A member either of the royal family or the government, whatever, the patron, right? The person, so to speak. And anyway, ends up throwing up on Yona's dress. And Yona's like, no, it's fine. You're clearly unwell. You're tired. It's all right. And everyone's like, oh man. And I love how Jodo, because remember, we've seen this dude. We have seen this guy. You can't hate this guy. You can hate Ki-sok all you want, and some people cannot like soo-won as a character. But Jodo, he is. I mean, go reread the manga, especially the arc where they first enter. I think it's the Water Tribe where they enter. Is it Awa where they first encounter Yona again? And Jodo is just like, I can't have any more feelings for this person and stuff. And Yona's just dismissing him completely. And Jodo's just remembering protecting her as a kid and watching over her, and is like, I can't let her be hurt. I need to protect her. This is my princess. But then has to remember, no, the person I protect is soo-won. I can have no more feelings for this person. Regardless of the outcome of what happened back in chapter 1, Jodo is not a bad guy. He did what he felt was right. He knows he's a piece of shit. He owns it, but he still tries to he tries to have a sense of honor about it, and it's very conflicting. He's a great character. I love his character, honestly. I really do. You know, he had his reasons, but he never wished harm on Yona. And I think we actually had an inner monologue of him during that time saying, I never wished for your death. I always wished that you were somewhere else. I dreamed and hoped and prayed that you had found happiness somewhere where none of us will ever find you. We'll never know. Sort of like the end of the, spoiler alert for the Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, but sort of like Alfred at the end. Just everyone thought Bruce Wayne was dead. Everyone thought Batman died. And then at the end, you know, Alfred saw him. He was happy. He was with Anne Hathaway. Who wouldn't be happy with Anne Hathaway? And he was there, and he was living a life. He was just by himself. He was happy. No one needed to know he was alive. He was happy. He was content, right? So Jodo is that very character, that Michael Sheen. No, it's not Michael Sheen. It's Michael Caine. Sorry, I'm thinking Underworld. I just happened to rewatch the Underworld movies, guys, so that's probably why I'm thinking Michael Sheen. Michael Caine, Alfred in those movies. I think I got that right. Yeah, it's Michael Caine. Plays Alfred. Very much so as far as Yona's concerned, and I love how Jodo still continues to react to anything Yona does and sort of jumps to her side right away. I still like that. He's still got that that involuntary momentum, that involuntary movement. It's really good. So sorry about that, guys. Just really wanted to talk about that because Jodo, I don't think he gets enough spotlight. I know he's not a main cast member, but I find him fun. I find him interesting. And when it comes to the end, I think Jodo is going to be on Yona's side, regardless what it is. So she tells this young lord, this Lantan or whatever, to have a Lord Lantan to rest a while and stuff. So they set up some bed chambers, and they said we'll continue the conference later. So Yona goes to greet him. It's only, and I'm very surprised by this. This was actually okay. This is one key factor. Let's remember this factor. There are no members other than Lantan, Lord Lantan, in this room right now. Let's remember that. We have Kisok, we have Jodo, and we have Yona. All members of another country. Let's remember that for a second. Just keep that in mind. Now, I'm not an important person. And I don't mean that to go, oh my God, my life sucks. I feel triggered, man. Let's go on a 2014 blog post and call how triggered and anxiety I am at 16. No, I'm talking about, I am not a figurehead. I am not a, important person when it comes to the world economics, the state of the world, right? I'm not a world leader. I'm nothing like that. But I would imagine, considering that I feel like this would be odd, if I went to a foreign goddamn country and I traveled with a couple of friends, maybe my wife and kids, maybe, I don't have kids yet, but whatever, my parents, whatever, right? I'm pretty sure if I fell ill and was puking and I went into a hotel room at the bare minimum, let's say we're on a resort, pretty sure someone's going to stay with me, check on me, make sure I'm all right, Now let's put that in major perspective right now. Let's put that in the perspective of this right now. Kai and Koka are this close to war. We're going to let the representative who has come here, this is basically letting Vladimir Putin into the United States of America and no Russian guards in the room. Along with the president and 2 members of the Secret Service in the room. That situation would never fucking happen. That doesn't happen in Canada. And we're Canada. Or Sweden, or Denmark, or any of those nice places to live, right? Nobody goes up to a borderline, let's just call spade a spade, an enemy nation, either borderline or gonna be enemy nation. No one lets their representative of the state or their ambassador or whatever go to a bedside room alone and be met by no less than 3 key members of said enemy nation with nobody else in the room. Like, the suspicion levels. I think the new thing is sus since Among Us came out. I'm sure that's... I keep seeing that on all the YouTube videos for that. So is that a new thing? I'm sussing you. I suspect you to be the imposter. Whatever. The whole sussing thing, Yamal. The whole sussing thing, this is just... Like, let's just remember this, because this is going to become a key factor in a minute here, because I found that very odd. Now, this person... sorry, that took a while to explain, but I just find this, like, I was just trying to explain how this would never happen unless they wanted what happens next. Just saying. Oh wow, we have pop-ups. Well, that's nice. So, Yona basically talks with this guy, this Lantan, and finds out that he hates Kai. He hates the crap, the imperial family, the basically the higher ups, the nobles. They're rotten to the core. They've abandoned their loyalty. He doesn't hate North Kai. He hates South Kai because it's a weird situation. I'm assuming it's similar to North Korea, South Korea. I haven't really checked up on my Yona stuff. Maybe we got more information about this before, but even though they're all part of the great empire, it's sort of like America back during the Civil War. It's North and South Korea during the Korea War. Like, it's just, like, they might be the same country, but they're sort of a little bit at odds, right? So, this person, though part of the South Kai, is not feeling well about all this and stuff, and just confesses this all to Yona, and just feels like he's like, oh, I maybe it's my sickness, maybe that I'm feeling unwell, maybe it's that I just feel like I shouldn't be talking ill of my country, especially in front of you people, but I feel like you, Princess, are someone that I could confide into, and this goes along with her ability, sort of like in One Piece, Luffy's ability to attract everyone around him. Make friends with the greatest people in the world, and like no one wishes him harm. You know, he makes friends with the impossible Boa Hancock. He makes friends with the great and most powerful man in the world, Whitebeard, at the time. You know, that kind of stuff. Like with ease. He's not trying to do that. He's not like going up there like, I'm gonna be friends with you. I'm just the best dude in the world. He's not even trying. He's just being himself. And Yona is just being herself, and I like it. It's really good. So Yona calms him down, basically says like, I might not be able to do much better, but I would like to talk with you some more and listen to your story. Just keep resting. He seems to ask like, are you betrothed to anybody? She's like, no. And says like, do you have someone you like? She's like, yeah, no, yeah. Oh my God, no. You know, sort of that kind of idea, right? This Lantan, this Lord Lantan, who doesn't seem like too bad a guy. At first, I was gonna call out like, this guy's just a mole. He's just feeding her shit. This is gonna be bad. He turns out to, I assume, not to be such a bad guy, and just says, whoever you're thinking of must be an extraordinary person to be with you. And this is where Yona kind of blanks over her eyes and says, I still have no idea when I'll be able to see him again. You know, see, now she's regretting the bullshit. The moment that I was like, this is not Yona, this is crap writing. Why are you doing this to me? This is a great manga, but why are you writing Yona into the ground? One of the only mangas that I read where the main character is female, which is very rare to come across with, for me personally. Not saying that I've never read a good manga with strong female characters, but the main character, like some of my favorite characters in manga have been female characters, but they aren't technically the main. Shaman King, perfect example. Yo Asakura is the main character. Anne is one of the best female characters in all of manga, period. But she's not the main character. In Akatsuki no Yona, Yona is the main character. It's such a rarity for me to follow and love and put in probably my top 10, top 15 for sure, mangas I've ever read, and have the female lead. She's probably the only one. And to insult her character the way that this was going down, wasn't too happy with. So I like that they're acknowledging this right here in this chapter, because she's even saying, like, I don't know when I'll be able to meet him, and she's realizing it's sort of her mistake almost, which is good. It's not really a retcon, just more of a, I went and told jae-ha that I don't need him to be a bodyguard and stuff, and she knows, because we already had this. We already had this thing where she's like, I want to give Hawk his freedom, but I didn't say it right, and Hawk was just like, well, fine, fuck you. Like, fine, I'll just stay away from you. Like, I'll keep protecting you, but fine. Like, I'll keep my distance sort of idea. Like, hurt his feelings. Dragon's already explained that to Yona once. She didn't need the lesson again. She's not a stupid person. So, I sort of like that was acknowledged, because she's already been through this lesson. So, she recognizes he must be mad at me. My lover, as if I can say that, and she's all like winded and sort of like she's deep in thought and that kind of deal, right? So she talks to Kisok for a while. Nothing really goes on there. Just like sort of they're playing a battle of the words that goes on, like, you didn't say anything when I said Coca Kingdom's dragons belong to the king. He's like, that wasn't the time or place, you idiot. You know that very well. I'm not going to lash out at you like a 16-year-old stupid girl right now. I am Yona. I am Princess Goddamn Yona. Respect my title. I'm a fuck-mothering vampire. You respect that title. And you know as well as I, that was not the place to discuss it. You know you don't own them. And she even says, it's not like you can make the 4 dragons or Hawk. I love that she adds Hawk when he's only talking about the 4 dragons, but there's 5. Let's all admit it. We all simp for that man. It's 5 goddamn dragons. So it's not like the 5 dragons will do as you please anyways. Like, she's just talking smack. She's telling this bastard, go fuck it. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, we have the 4 dragons of legend. No, you don't. If I go like this, they will go that way. No matter how much you beg, plead, and pay to go that way, if I do this, they're going that way. So you don't own them worth shit. You do not. Now, she doesn't think it that way. She doesn't really say it that way. But we all know that's the case. If Yona says A, they do A. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. The rest of the alphabet. Yona says A, they're doing A. They've all even said, this whole arc has been about them saying, I came here for Yona. If Yona wants it, I'll do it. But if Yona doesn't want it, I'm not doing it. Shin-ah has been saying that the whole time. Even Zeno's like, well, if the little miss wants it, I'll just go along with what the little miss is doing. I don't care. I've been waiting 2,000 goddamn years for this shit to unfold. I'm just going to keep following the little miss. I'm not waiting another 2,000 for me to, like, abandon this. It all gets fucked, and then I'm too late again. No. I'm sticking around. So that's 2 out of 4. Jae-ha, I mean, he loves Hawking Yona at this point. Kija is devoted to her like she's a goddamn god. Like, it's just going to work. So, either way, I did like that. I loved how she talked smack like that. She's so cool in that way. So, they talk about soo-won a little bit. Kisok goes into a monologue about trying to cure soo-won. They end up entering the room of Lord Lantan, and he's already died. It looks like he almost took like a cyanide capsule or something, like a pill, because he's sitting up in bed, and he's like frothing at the mouth, and he's just like, and he's dead. And so they report to Yona. They're just like, what the hell? It's clearly poisoning. So it's Jodo, Minso, and Kisok are reporting it to Yona, and she's like, what? He's dead? So the southern, of course, the emissaries from Southern Kai are unanimous in clamoring that you were the one who served in the poison. We see all the pointing fingers and the, how dare you do this? It was all a ruse, blah, 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 blah. And once again, this is why I stayed like for 5 goddamn minutes on that point, and all those, like, a double example as to how they would never in the goddamn world, unless they wanted that man dead, and even if they, like, this was totally set up by them. Like, I'd love to believe that there's a second layer to this. I would love it. All right. Let's take a moment. This review does not need to be like a 30-minute done. I can take 40 if I want to. You guys love my Yona reviews. I love making them. We're going to talk about this. So, once again, I've already explained the situation with the whole leaving the delegate in the room stuff, right? But even so, you would never... I'm surprised Ki-sok or Jo-do didn't find that odd. Just one speech bubble. That's a problem. Why nobody even suspected this as a thing. Like, why? Like, they're like, not even out in the hall. Is there anybody here? Like, there should have been 2 bodyguards for Yona and 2 for Lanten at all times. I'd love to think, as I said before, that this was double layered. And it's not actually the South Kai emissaries. But it's probably someone from North Kai that infiltrated the Southern Kai emissaries. So even, like, that's the only double layer I can concede. Because nobody in the Koka Kingdom benefits from this. I can't think of a single person that would benefit from this that was around or available that we know of. Even if, like, the Earth Tribe was there and they hate Kai. Even if, Jun Tai was there and stuff, Jun Tai, the general, who's awesome, he wouldn't stoop to that. He wants an honorable battle. He's like Mundok. He's honorable. Him, Hawk, Mundok, they're all like, we're the strongest 3 of goddamn the kingdom. They don't want to do that, right? So I can't see any of the people that follow Jun Tai and the Earth Tribe doing it, and they're the ones most insulted by Kai at this moment. Ki-sok seems shocked by this information. It doesn't seem like he had any involvement. So if it's not that slimy Severus Snape motherfucker, then the only explanation is what we see here in this chapter explained, that it was probably a slow-acting poison from the Southern Kai emissaries. They gave it to him to stage this. Or one of them is a Northern Kai goddamn like spy or mole, did it to make it look like that. You have South Kai fighting Koka, they weaken themselves, and North Kai gets its power back. Because as we just, that might be some big brain moment from me, from yours truly, but that would be the coolest way to start off the next arc, is that North Kai is the real enemy, trying to get the Koka Kingdom getting too powerful. They were uniting, they united all the tribes and stuff, which are quite vast and heavy. We heard legends of the 4 dragons rising up. The next coming of King Hiryu was in motion. And maybe Northern Kai is super superstitious, like the Sinnoh region in Pokemon or some shit. Like, Dialga, Palkia, like, it's like, no, they don't actually gods of time. No, yes, they are. Mew was first. No, So, that shit, like, maybe they're fanatics of that crap. And maybe they're just, like, a little bit too nuts. And they're like, okay, we can't have, like, we already got South Kai acting all independent and we don't like that shit. And now Koka Kingdom has built up their military strength to points that concern us. We got to stomp that out. So how do they do it without getting their own hands dirty? They make them fight each other. To me, great setup for the next arc. Yona has been getting more political every single arc and more involved in like real world issues that happen here. You can take the allegory. I'm not a huge fan of allegory. Neither was Tolkien, my favorite writer. But I can see the ideas of using not so much allegory for real world events necessarily, but things that happen day to day and real world issues, not so much allegory itself of a specific issue so much. So definitely finding that super interesting here, because that's basically what they say, is that they get themselves all amped up and they're like, it's going to be a war against South Kai. And Yona's a little shocked by this at first, and I was like, no. Yona. My badass bitch was back. Do not regress. Do not regress. I can't take it. I cannot take it. I already explained how she's like the only goddamn lead female character of any manga I've ever loved. Can't take this. I need this in my life. I need that diversity. It's so good. I think part of the reason it's so good is because it's fresh to me. It's fresh in that aspect. Like she's the title character. She's the goddamn lead. So I don't know if that plays a point, but it's definitely something I can, like, you can look at everything I read and you can factor that out. Like, that's different from everything else. So either way, everyone's assuming that was their goal from the start, all this stuff. And as I said, they talk about the slow-acting poison and stuff, and they talk about there's going to be a war, blah, blah, blah. Yona regrets not being able to talk to Lan Tan anymore, and she's sort of regretting, everything that's been happening right now. It's like she stood her ground, she went to one goddamn conference and everything went to hell. So, would they have done it to soo-won? Probably. But, once again, I think my North Kai theory is correct. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, because the rest of the chapter just goes on to say that everyone's basically the talk of the town. It's the rumor that the dignitary of the delegation arrived and was murdered from South Kai. And, it'll shock you. The criminal appears to be Princess Yona. Apparently, she gave him some poison tea, killed him in his sleep. Now, we see Yon here, who's just like, yeah, no. And it's funny because I think this is jae-ha, because we see Yon's shock face here. He's like, could you repeat that to me, what you just said? It's like, well, the princess, and he's all in garb and stuff. So the dragons are going to sneak in to talk to Yona, right? Now is probably not the best time, but they got to get all back together. Here's the only hype moment, really. It's the last page of the chapter, is that everyone's talking about the same rumor in front of Hawk. And we see Hawk again overhearing that Princess Yona murdered an emissary from South Kai. And Hawk turns, looking stoic. That's the end of the chapter. Next chapter, early December. It says December 4th, but this one, I thought it was supposed to come out tomorrow, November 5th or 6th. By the time the translation came out. This one was already released early November 4th. So first week in December, guys, we're going to have the live stream. We're going to have chapter 200 before the end of the year. I'm really excited about that. Are you guys excited? I hope you are. Just want to talk about a few things here. But what's our timestamp app? That way I know to keep it brief. Okay, 36 minutes. Yeah, all right. So we're going to keep this super brief. Live stream, chapter 200. Look forward to it, guys. I'll let you guys know. I'm not going to say the day of the translation, because if the translation comes out like on a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock my time, I'm not going to be able to go full in and get up for work in the morning and stuff like that, right? So let's table the idea. I tell you what I'm going to do, though. I am going to post when the translation comes out. I will post you guys at least a 12-hour notice to when the live stream will occur. So definitely live stream chapter 200. I hope you guys all show up. If you need to know when I'm going to post it, definitely go check out my Discord. The link will be in the box below, because that is where I'll be posting it. I will tag at everyone, make sure everybody knows well in advance when that stream is going down. So we're going to make it a big one. That's going to be a 2-hour plus stream easy. So I'm really excited for it. So other than that, I have mixed feelings about this chapter, as you guys already know, only because I like my North Kai's theory, which is I think pretty solid. My one big flaw with this chapter is the fact that we went through all this, and by the looks of it, they're setting it up for Hawk and the dragons to come together to save the princess. And that's going to put her back in a damsel in distress sort of situation. And we might have to save this, because it's going to go on way too long if I start talking too much about this theory. But I don't like the fact, because Princess Yona, while being, like, when the guys are pissed for her, it's badass. But the fact of the matter is, she went to a weak character for no goddamn reason. Had we not had that whole weak state of hers leading up to this, then this would be totally fine. But I'm worried. I'm worried that instead of her getting out of this weird depression that made no sense, character-wise, bad writing, back into full form, she's Yona again. 2 chapters later, she's in trouble, and she needs the guys to save her. And once again, guys, I love all the dragons, and I love Hawk to death. But Yona is far from a damsel in distress anymore. It's literally, like, she does not need that. Like, if they make it that they come to her rescue and they do all the work, I guess that's my point. Like, I'm just spitballing here. Once again, it's okay if they go to her aid. But if they save the day, it's different. It's going to be a very fine line between giving her support and aid and saving the day. It's a very fine line, and it's different. And I fucking hope they don't do the wrong one, which is them coming in to save the day. That's not what we need. And this is not a male versus female thing, guys. This is just a fact that Yona's character was tarnished in this arc. And she finally got, steeled up, ready to go. I'm goddamn Princess Yona, bitch. I run this. My name's on the goddamn title of the manga. Let's do this. She was badass last chapter. She was badass this chapter. And we do not need her to regress into the point that she needs saving. She doesn't need saving. She needs to get out of it on her own with the support of her friends, her dragons, and her lover. She does not need them to save her. And I just hope that little hiccup in the writing of Yona's character is not something I expect to see. It's sort of like leapfrog. Like, okay, hop. All right, she's good. Hop. All right, she's good. Hop. I don't need that wave action going. Like, let's not do leapfrog. Let's not do a wave. Let's keep it consistent. All right, you were like this, went down for a second. Now you're back up. Let's keep it level again. You don't need to go up. If there's a risk of you going back down, don't try to go any further up. Just keep it even keel. Yona's a great character. She can stay here. She can stay here. If there's a risk of her going down for the sake of going up, leave it here. Leave it here. That's all I'm saying. So, what do you guys think of that? Like, comment, and subscribe. As always, that's the end of the chapter. Long chapter review, but I feel like, it is chapter 199, guys. We're going to chapter 200 next month. Going to be psyched. I'm psyched. I goddamn hope this U.S. election is over by then. Because that's giving me a lot of anxiety for some reason. Wife's American and all that fun jazz. So, you imagine where I'm feeling. She's Latina, and she's a woman, and she has a brain. So you can imagine who she didn't vote for. So, either way, does she have a brain? Am I dating a zombie? Anyways, point of the fact is, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm really looking forward to chapter 200. I just hope that I just see a couple of warning signs here, and I'm a little nervous. Like, I was supposed to be super hyped about the Hawk reveal and chapter 200. They're probably going to reunite. That's going to be the big thing. But, which once again, we're kind of running out of time, but short story is the fact of the matter is that why do we always expect like the milestone chapters to be major events, and we get disappointed if they aren't. I don't think this is set up for anything other than Hawk and Yona reuniting, which, while a great moment in itself, usually milestone chapters are big, whoa, and I'm not seeing huge setup for a big whoa sort of idea, right? Yona and Hawk already have said, like, I love you too. They've already kissed, all that stuff. So we're not going to see any big milestone things, I don't believe, in that regard. Probably just them reuniting. Not that that's not a big thing, but once again, do you think milestone chapters? Another thing to leave in the comment section down below, alongside of my North Kai theory, and the idea of Yona's character and the whole saving versus aiding aspect. For the third topic, do you guys believe that Hawk and Yona are going to be like? Do you believe milestone chapters should be the big turning points of any manga, or do we put too much emphasis on them? I'm a bit in the later half, because we're not talking about a chapter 1000, which I believe. All right, chapter 1000 or 500, sure. But every 100 chapters, you gotta make it a big deal. Maybe they don't need to be the big events that people are building them up to. So that being said, what do you guys think about that? Tell me what you think of the 3 topics and 3 questions posed. Like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Griever with a very long Yona review, but it's chapter 199. You just be glad it didn't go to an hour. So, or maybe you guys are upset that it didn't. Either way, drink responsibly as always, guys. We'll see you back here next month. Chapter 200 live stream. Looking forward to it, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.